Okay, so I think we were in the middle of this problem when my video cut out because I'm only allowed 15 minutes. But we were looking at, could we factor x squared minus 7x minus 14? Okay, so there are no factors of negative 14 that add up to negative 7, so we can't factor that any further. Had we been able to, we might have been able to cancel out something from the numerator and the denominator, but as this problem is, that is our final answer right there. Okay, so we have a final section of this, I guess, subsection of this section, and that is about simplifying complex fractions. Okay, these problems may look intimidating, but I want you to stick with it. Okay, these will get easier with time. My best advice for doing these problems is to break it down as much as possible. Okay, that will make it easier for you. So don't let it intimidate you. It is possible. I'm going to pick a fun color for this one. Let's see. Always trying to pick a fun color. Let's do purple here. Okay, so our goal here with the simplifying complex fractions, we want to simplify the numerator and the denominator separately and then divide them. Okay, so you're probably going to want a couple of different colors to do these. So if we look at our numerator in this problem, so we have x over 6 minus x over 3. Okay, so we don't have a common denominator. We want to make it have a common denominator. So to do that, we need to multiply this x over 6 by 3 over 3, and the x over 3 by 6 over 6. Okay, so then that will give us, so that's going to equal 3x over 6 times 3, which is 18, minus 6x over 6 times 3, which is 18. So now we have a common denominator. So we have 3x minus 6x, that equals negative 3x. And then our denominator, remember, stays the same. So we have negative 3x over 18. Okay, it's best probably if you can simplify this, do so now. So if, let's see, 3 goes into both 3 and 18. 3 goes into 3 one time and 18 6 times. So this simplifies to negative x over 6. Okay, so that's our numerator. Now I want you to pick a different color, a fun color, and write your denominator. So here we have x over 5 minus 7 over 10. Okay, so 5 is in the denominator, and we've got 10 in the denominator here. Well, 10 is the same as 5 times 2. Okay? So we've got a factor of 5 in the denominator here. We can multiply this by 2 over 2 so that we get a denominator of 10 in this fraction. So you can leave the second fraction alone. So we have 2x over 10 minus 7 over 10. So now we have a common denominator. That simplifies to 2x minus 7 over 10. And 2x minus 7 doesn't factor any further, so that is as simple as this fraction will go. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite. I'm taking this fraction and I'm dividing it by this fraction. So I'm going to rewrite it over here. I have negative x over 6, and I'm dividing it by, and you'll see why I'm writing it this way in a second, dividing it by 2x minus 7 over 10. Okay? Now remember, dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So this is the same as negative x over 6 times, remember this from last lesson, 10 over 2x minus 7. Which is the same as, if we multiply across, we have negative 10x over 6 times 2x minus 7. Okay, and then 10 over 6, that simplifies to, let's see if we divide each of these by 2, 5 over 3. So that's negative 5x over 3 times 2x minus 7. Okay, so I will recap what I did. I simplified the numerator here, simplified the denominator, rewrote it as a division problem, and then changed it to a multiplication problem and multiplied across. Remember, you don't need a common denominator to do multiplication or division, only addition and subtraction. Okay, so let's try one more. I'm going to use one color for my numerator. So here I have 2 over x minus 4 over, remember there's an invisible 1 if you don't see the denominator. So I need a common denominator. 2 over x is fine, but I'm going to have to multiply about the 4 over 1 by x on the top and an x on the bottom, so that they both have a denominator of x. So that equals 2 minus 4x, and the denominator, remember the denominator stays the same when we're subtracting, so that's denominator of x, or x in the denominator. Okay, I'm going to rewrite my numerator in standard form, so that's negative 4x plus 2 over x. And then I'm going to factor out, let's see, a negative 2. Because this is a minus sign, I want to factor out the negative 2. And inside then I have 2x plus 1 over x. So I've written that in complete factored form. Now let's look at our denominator. So my denominator, I have 2 over x, and then I'm going to add 3, and that's like 3 over 1. We want an x in the denominator here as well, so we multiply that by x over x. So that's going to equal 2 over x plus 3x over x, which is the same as 2 plus 3x over x. And if I write that in standard form, that's 3x plus 2 over x. Okay, so I'm going to take my top, my numerator, negative 2 times 2x plus 1 over x, and I'm going to divide it by my denominator, 3x plus 2 over x. Okay, remember that's the same as if I were to multiply these and flip the second one. So that's negative 2 times 2x plus 1 over x times x over 3x plus 2. Okay, now when we're multiplying, you don't need a common denominator. We can simply multiply across, so we have negative 2 times x times 2x plus 1. And then on the bottom I have x times 3x plus 2. Okay, notice since x is a factor of the top and the bottom, those cancel out, and we're left with negative 2 times 2x plus 1 over 3x plus 2. And that's your final answer, because we can't cancel out any other factors. Okay, we're going to do one more example. Hopefully you're getting the hang of this by now. In this example, this is nice because our numerator is already simplified. So that's going to be, that we can't add or subtract any further. Our denominator here, okay, we have 2 over x minus 3 plus 1 over x plus 5. I'm just going to rewrite that over here. 2 over x minus 3 plus 1 over x plus 5. And notice how both of these have factored denominators. That's good. We don't have to do much work there. Okay. To get a common denominator, we're going to need to multiply the x plus 5 by an x minus 3 on the top and the bottom. And we're going to need to multiply this by x plus 5 on the top and the bottom. So that's going to give us 2 times x plus 5 over x plus 5 times x minus 3. And then over here, plus x plus 3, or excuse me, x minus 3 over x plus 5 times x minus 3. Okay, if we simplify these, so that's like 2x plus 10 plus x plus 3. I don't know why I keep saying x plus 3. It's x minus 3. There we go. Okay, so notice when you're adding things, you can just drop the parentheses. And then our denominator stays the same because we're adding. So we have x plus 5 times x minus 3. Okay, let's simplify this as much as possible. It'll make it easier on us. So we have combined like terms in our numerator. 2x and 1x is 3x. 10x minus 3 is plus 7. So 3x plus 7 over x plus 5, x minus 3. Okay, so that is our denominator. Our numerator, remember, this was our numerator, so we're going to take numerator divided by denominator. So that's 3 over x plus 5 divided by 3x plus 7 over x plus 5 times x minus 3. Okay, so we've rewritten it. Now we want to change it to a multiplication problem. So I'm going to flip the second one. So this is like 3 over x plus 5 times x plus 5 times x minus 3 over 3x plus 7. So we flipped the second fraction there. Okay, now we multiply across. We don't need a common denominator because we're multiplying. So that's 3 times x plus 5 times x minus 3 on the top. And then on the bottom, we have x plus 5 times 3x plus 7. Oh, and looky there, we've got an x plus 5 on the top and the bottom cancel out so nicely. So we're left with 3 times x minus 3 over 3x plus 7. And you're done. Okay, so that is a way to simplify that one. Okay, and just to recap, so let's go through the steps of simplifying complex fraction. We want to simplify the numerator and the denominator separately, then divide by changing it to a multiplication problem. Simplify your answer if possible. Look at all that good work that we just did. Give yourself a round of applause. Those are tricky.